Welcome back to Online Darts, everyone. Before he rushes off to the Pro Tour, we've got Scotty Dog, Scott Mitchell. Scott, first of all, how's you?
Really good. I'm pleased to be here. What an amazing venue this is.
I was going to say, I know you're obviously at the heights of your tour card at the moment and things like that, but you played when we were at home. It's come some way, hasn't it?
Absolutely amazing. You know, we've gone from struggling to get internet signals to having a purpose-built venue. I mean, in such a short time, it's an outstanding work to get it all done so quickly.
You came through the BDO system and that amateur game side of it. I bet you would love and wish this was around 10 years ago.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, my darting career seems to be I've been 10 years too late for some things and 10 years too early for others. And something like this would have been just amazing to take you to other places and get used to that big stage. And we've seen the success in a very short time that the series has been going. So, you know, we know it works.
Big weekend for yourself. Last two Pro Tours of 2022 and the Grand Slam qualifier. Your game, though, seems in a good place. Although the results may not be there, the performances certainly are.
I would tend to agree with that. I mean, I've just been a little bit unlucky sometimes. Sometimes it's my fault. I'm one of those players that don't blame everybody else. I blame myself. I think we had a long break before the last four Pro Tours. For me, it was like end of July, start of August, and it was nearly 2 months. And I just... There's nowhere that you can go and get that match practice at that standard. There's only one place to go. So it was a tough one for me, having not qualified for any Euros or anything like that. So again, my own fault. I created my own downfall. Big weekend. I've got to do something big and special this weekend. Maybe I'm asking too much of myself. But if I don't. I will head back to Q School. There's no way in the world that I can believe there's anywhere else you need to be. You've got to have that card. And if I haven't got one, then you make plans for elsewhere.
Just a couple of bits on what you said there. First of all, how would you sum up your opening 2 years as a PDC player?
I think, to be honest, I've done better than I expected, particularly in the first year. I found it easier in the first year, knowing you had the comfort of the second year already being there. So for me, it was just trying to learn the ropes and kind of prove to myself that I should be there. And I did that right until the end of the year, and I had a whitewash against Johnny Clayton at Minehead in Players' Champs, which absolutely threw me because I've never really been whitewashed before, and I had a dart at every leg before Johnny. So even if I'd have only hit 3 of them, I'd have been happy. So that kind of destroyed my confidence a little bit, and then I went to Ali Pali and had the same problem playing Chris Landman. So it's been kind of catch-up since then. And then early in the year, I got COVID, so I missed a group of 4 as well. I changed darts sort of in January after the problems with Lamb, and I felt I needed to change darts. So there's some things that have been very self-inflicted. They're not excuses. It's just me getting things wrong. And the COVID thing, well, that's just a bit unlucky.
Worst case scenario, you lose your card. Can you take all the inspirations from that first year and the way you played in the back end of this year into Q School?
Yeah, I think you can. I think you have to. But you know you're going in against guys that have been here, that have been playing at that standard. So it's going to be very tough. I'm going to have to use all my experience, but I will make sure that I'm ready, the same as I did when I last went to Q School. I worked really hard for the 6 to 8 weeks before that and went there and got my card, albeit on the last day, and albeit I overcame getting beat by Fallon on the first day. You know, it was a tough Q School. There's no easy games there. And of course, being a former world champion, you've got a big target on your back anyway for the guys that are coming to play you.
Just on watching you speak there with the passion that you are and everything like that, do you feel your game is in a better place now than it's ever been, even though the results aren't there?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm playing more consistent, I'm playing better, and I know I've been around long enough that when you go into those lulls, if you get out of them, you come out of them a better player. So sometimes a lull and things not quite going right just turns you on a little bit and makes you think more about it and study it a little bit more and come back a better player.
I suppose the dream scenario between now and the end of November, beginning of December would be you have 2 great runs at the Pro Tour, get yourself to Minehead, get yourself to the World Championships, whether that's via the Order of Merit or the World Qualifier.
Absolutely, and I feel capable. I feel my game's in a good place. It's just needing that bit of luck to get you through the first game. The first game at the Pro Tours, oh my word, they are so hard. No matter who you play, no matter where you're playing, when you're winning them regularly, they just come as a breeze. It's not a problem. But when you're struggling and you start to tail off and you struggle to win them, they're massive. That first game is massive. And I feel that if I can just get in, you feel like you're getting into the tournament if you can win the first game. And I just can't kick the door open and get in at the minute.
I know devil's advocate and everything like that. Do you wish you made the jump earlier, knowing what you now know now in 2022?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was ready to make the jump in 2015. And I thought that maybe I was going to get a card. So I was sat there waiting. I had the sponsors lined up. And then I saw a tweet from Uncle Barry saying, if he wants one, he's got to come and get one. Well, I wasn't set up all ready for that because it was so quick after Lakeside. So
of course, yeah.
Then I had the decision. It wasn't difficult to say, right, I'm going to stay and I'm going to parade this all over the place.
Having paraded it for a year, though, was the temptation then to jump at the beginning of 16?
I don't know. What would you do if somebody told you they didn't want you?
Prove them wrong, maybe?
Well, I did eventually, but maybe it was forced upon me. But I felt I couldn't understand at the time why I was the first not to get one.
Yeah,
that was what I was trying to get into my head, and I couldn't get my head around that.
Yeah.
Not that I felt that I was any better or bigger than anybody else. Not that I felt that, that I deserved one. It's just what had all gone on before. Christian had come over and Stephen had come over, and I just thought I was going to be the next in the succession. But it just, look, it wasn't meant to be, and we're where we are because we are. And when I did get my tour card, Uncle Barry had a word with me and said, lovely to have you over, and blah, blah. So, look, there's no animosity about it. It's just what it is.
You touched on there, obviously, hand being forced, and you played in the WDF BDO system for a long, long time. Does it sadden you, like it does many other players that we speak to that played in that system for so long, where the amateur game is right now in that neck of the woods?
Yeah, it kind of is, but I understand where it is because I've been there and seen when the finances aren't there, you really can't go giving away what you haven't got. We've seen that happen once already, and it's kind of gone to the wall. So I think if we're referring to the WDF, I could understand why they're taking it slow and steady at this particular moment in time, and not making mistakes like that have been made in the past.
On those mistakes made in the past, do you think the amateur game will ever recover and get back to the days that it was?
I think probably one of the main reasons that it went by the way was because we weren't ready to accept progression. Everything progresses, every door closes, another door opens. I'm sure that another door is open for the amateur game as we speak, but the progression in the system that we had back then really did seem to work. But it's gone now. You can't keep looking back. You can't keep blaming people. You can't, you've got to draw a line in the sand, step over it, and each person's got to do what's best for them.
On the amateur game, obviously you've been here. Is this the best place for amateurs to play right now here at the Super Series?
Well, I've got to be honest, I hadn't stood on the stage until this morning. I went up and like had a little fake throw and stuff, and it is the place to come. It is the place to learn. And like we say, we're seeing already that the players are coming from here, Robert Owen and Scott Williams. They're coming on from here and learning here and taking it to other places.
Scott, absolute pleasure catching up with you here at the Super Series, and wish you all the very best in the rest of 2022.
I've got everything crossed, but if it doesn't happen, I'm sure I'll bump into you again soon. Top man.